I graduated from the University of Mumbai with a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering in 2016 and with a master's degree in machine design from the same university in 2019.
Okay.
Then I worked as a research project trainee at BRC Mumbai during my master's degree. I wrote my thesis on fracture mechanics based on this experience. And I have published one paper with 1 year's research experience. Uh, and I have also LOR from scientific officers of BRC and HOD of my college. After that, I decided to pursue PhD in fracture mechanics. So to begin with, I was seeking admission to a PhD program at European universities. However, I did not receive full funding. Then, as a result, I spent 1 year seeking full funding admission. Later, I decided to pursue a PhD degree in the USA and started preparing for the GRE. But GRE did not go well for me. Many universities waived their GRE requirements due to this pandemic. So since I did not I do not have to spend 1 more year again, and retaking the GRE for admission for fall 22 will not be possible right now. So are there any chances of getting PhD admission in the US without passing the GRE? Or should I apply only to MS with low GRE score?
So Sonal, what's your idea here? Are you trying to get into a PhD program, or you want to just go do another master's and then find a job or something? What's your preference would be?
I want to do a PhD only.
The PhD only, okay. And what you want to do after that?
Then I want to become a professor in university in the USA.
Okay. So Sunil, if that is the case, my advice is very simple, because you have a very well set criteria. First of all, your video is blank actually. Is that, you can fix it or no?
It is, I'm using my computer, so it has no video camera.
Okay. So, okay, let me tell you a couple of things then. Number one is, if you want to become professor in US, you have to get into a PhD program in a good school. Don't choose a university which has a low ranking. Okay, that's number one. Because if you go to a university which has a low ranking, your chances of becoming a professor are very low. Okay, so make sure to choose a university which has a good ranking. How you can find that? You can go to usnews.com and look at the ranking of the universities and choose the ranking based on that. So I would say, don't go beyond top 20 or top 50. Okay, so that's number one. You have to also understand that most of the some of the universities have waived the GRE score. I don't know which are those. I can't tell you that. You have to look for them, but there are universities which have not, if they have not waived their GRE score, then you have to look at the universities and make sure you pass their cutoff criteria. So let's say if Stanford University has a cutoff criteria of a certain number, there is no point in applying to that university if you did not qualify the cutoff criteria. There's no point. Okay. Yes. And number three, I would also advise you, most of the time what people do is they start emailing to the professors that they would like to work with. Okay. I don't know whether you have done that or not. Do you know which professors are those who are very well versed in the area of the research do you want to conduct? So make sure you have a very good idea about those professors who have done research in the areas that you want to go, fracture mechanics or whatever. But on the top of that, I will tell you one thing is, make sure you are not choosing a research area which has a which has a very which is a very outdated research area. You want to choose a research area which is up and coming. Okay, so don't choose an area, and this is very important. Don't choose an area which has a very low significance. It's just because you have done research in that area doesn't mean that area is very up and coming. Choose a research area which is very upcoming, which has a value for future. Okay, because I have done that mistake in my PhD, so I just want to make sure you understand that point.
Yes, sir.
Because once you get out from that university using that research, then you will have tough time to find a job otherwise.
Okay.
Yeah,
Got it.
because not every university the universities, when they hire a professor, they make sure that the person they are looking for is knows about the areas which are very critical and which are up and coming, not some area which some professor has been working in from last 30 years and so forth. So make sure you choose your research area very wisely. I will give you one example. Again, this is one example that I can tell you is, for example, if you're doing research in the area of batteries, right? Or you're trying to solve a problem of fracture of a cathode or anode of a battery during charging and discharging, I would say that is a good area. But if you're just looking at fracture of titanium alloys, I don't think that's a good area, in my opinion.
Okay.
So try to understand where you are applying your area, which area is up and coming, where you see the problem, which is more critical that universities are looking for. And one of the very good way to figure that out is just look at the announcement of faculty positions and look at what are the education level, not level, what are the research areas the universities are looking for these days. So if you look at one faculty area research or two faculty area research or three, or just look at advertisement, and you can figure that out very easily. As I said to you, fracture mechanics is one area, but I think it's also important for you to understand, if you're trying to understand the fracture of I don't know, of a sheet metal or or aluminum alloy or titanium alloy. I don't think that will be useful at all. Yeah, but you're trying to solve a problem of a fracture, as I said, of a cathode material, anode material, of a battery during charging and discharging, why that happens. I think that's a good area, a really good area.
Okay.
So just don't do, because the reason why I'm telling you this thing, I'm looking for your master's work, and I'm looking at what you have done there, and so forth. And I will be very honest with you. I'm not denying that the work you have done doesn't require lot of hard work and all that, but it just does not, it's not very useful for what universities probably look for. So find something else.
Okay.
You can use the same tools, but try to use those tools to solve a problem which is more critical, which is for now, not which people are already doing for last 30 years or 50 years. Do you understand my point?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so that is extremely important. So remember a couple of things that I told you. One, good university, extremely important. Number two, area of research. Both are equally important. And if you choose a good university at the right topic, you're all set. But if you ask me how can I get admission, that is very plain and simple. you need to get a good GRE score. There is no if and but on that. If because as I said, it's a competition. Everybody is going to apply to good universities. If you have a lower score, but maybe you have done a good research, maybe you can talk to a professor who is willing to take you. That's fine. Then in that case, you have to do some homework there, where you send email to a professors talking about your research and things like that. And if they help you, or maybe you want to talk to your project advisor in your masters or in Bhabha Atomic Research Center and ask them, and that we would like to do you know someone who works in these areas?
Okay.
Yeah, so that would be helpful to you. And those people may know some people out there who are in these areas and trying to solve some problem. So I know, for example, in medical research, for example, the brain injury happens in sports very much in US, for example. If I talk to you in football, American football, so they are trying to understand the impact of that brain, how that impact damages the brain, and how to solve it, to develop new materials for the helmet. That's a very good area, but you have to understand, I'm talking about different research area which is appealing, not something which is very traditional. And I know people who are working in these research areas. If you look at Johns Hopkins, there's a professor, K.T. Ramesh, who works in this area. So as I said to you, that's how it is. But good university means you have to look for a good score and all that. You can go to university website and try to see if they are accepting GRE score or not. But I would also tell you, talk to the professors, make a list of professors. And if you don't have, this is the high time for you to do it before you send out your application.
Yes.
Yeah.
Got it, sir.
Mm-hmm. Anything else, Sonal?
So should I ask professors that are they accepting the applications without GRE and with my research proposal?
You can figure that out from the graduate admissions. They should have that information in their website, or just Google it, a list of universities who are not accepting GRE score, who are giving waiver. You will find that list of universities in Google too. You don't have to ask a professor that. You can ask, but I would say that will be a wrong question to ask to a professor. You want to ask to a professor the right question about your research, and whether that professor has money to fund your PhD and all that. That's the right question for a professor, not if you're accepting GRE, because that's the rule of the graduate student committee.
Okay. Yes, understood.
Yeah.
That's all I want to ask you.
Sure. Not a problem, Sonal. And as I said to you, don't get very disheartened, because this whole process is like that. Everybody goes through this. I have gone through the same process. So keep applying, and make sure, as I told you, I can tell you from my mistakes that I have done is, so make sure, because you have a set goal, like you want to do this after you graduate and all that. So make sure you know that if you're not going to a good university, you're not going to become a professor. It's going to be very difficult. It's almost no. But if you decide, okay, what are the other options if I don't join a good university, but let's say I joined other university which is not the top one, it's not like you cannot find a job. Then probably you will be working for a industry or something.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Sonal.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good, Sonal. Nice talking to you, and keep in touch. If you have any more questions later on, shoot me an email. I will try to help you out. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay,
Thank you
Sonal.
so much.
Bye.
Bye, sir. Thank you, sir.
Mhm.